I think I actually really understand why men are not approaching women out. Beyond the fact that the dating apps have kind of ruined dating culturally. I also think the emphasis we've been putting on consent is scary. It should be. I think I would prefer that you are concerned and erring on the safe side. Obviously, this is an important conversation that had to happen. I understand, though, why men have gotten into their heads, especially men who care a lot about not making a woman feel uncomfortable, that they would just err on the side of caution and not approach a woman at all. Like, I understand that.
So men don't approach women anymore because they're often referred to as creeps and they're scared of rejection. It's something that I hear a lot of. And I wanted to personally speak to this because I have a lot to say, because I am the biggest supporter of men being men and men pursuing women. Okay, so I'll preface this by saying that. But the problem is, a lot of men pursue women knowing that that woman is not interested in them. And therefore it leads to this negative culture with it. I could speak from my personal experience. I am a very respectful person. For the most part, any person that has ever approached me, tried to pursue me, that I knew I was not interested in, that person did not leave thinking about, oh, I've been rejected, what a terrible experience, they were never felt like a creep, none of that. However, I cannot tell you how many times I had been diplomatic or respectful about the decline, and it has led me to being borderline harassed. Whatever the reason may be at the time that I had rejected these people, I have heard things along the lines of not caring that I was in a relationship, or insinuating that my relationship is not going to work out or not serious. I have been told, don't worry, I like guys, so don't worry about it. Like, it was just clearly a lie. I've been told so many things under the sun. I've had people follow me. I've had people grab me, like, while walking to stop me. I've had a man grab me, right? So this is where you start to have this negative perception about this idea of being approached. And so the issue lies in the fact of men being able to decipher when a woman is genuinely interested, especially when that woman is very, very clear with her intentions. When someone says, I'm not interested, I'm not available, no, anything alluding to the fact of no or not interested needs to be taken with thank you, have a nice day. And that's how we create respectful encounters with approaches. And that's all it takes. And I think it's just certain people that overdo it and give a negative kind of perception of it based on the fact that they have no idea how to read social cues, or they just don't care to, and that's a huge problem. And that's my 2 cents.
So I guess I understand where she's coming from, but here's my contention. A lot of times, and thank you for being on the side of men, right? But I think a lot of times modern women will say stuff. I've had men grab me. I've had men follow me. I've had men degrade me, yada, yada, yada. And then we do a little bit more digging and we find when men would be doing this, in what environment. And sometimes we find that it's in a club. We find that the environment that they're in is conducive to disrespect. So you're hanging around men that are going to disrespect you. Not that it can't happen at a gas station, but is it likely to happen at a gas station? Probably not. Not that it can't happen at your random local Applebee's, but is it likely to happen at Applebee's? Probably not. Are there wild stories at Applebee's? Buffalo Wild Wings? Yes, there are. But is it likely? No. Is it more likely to happen in a club where you got drinking, or a bar where you got drinking going on? People are feeling a little bit loose, feeling a little less responsible. Then, yeah. So once again, you've got the jerks coming up to you and approaching you, and the good guys are standing off and saying, ooh, I'm not going over there. They're actually reading you correctly, but they're saying, you know what, I don't really want to be involved in that. unless there is a clear sign for me to come over, I'm not doing it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's going to take more than women being pretty for men to approach them anymore. I keep seeing women complaining that men aren't approaching them. And as someone who used to wonder about this too, I'm going to tell you exactly what I learned and how we can fix it. Here's what I've realized. These men are exhausted. They're tired of being used for free drinks, tired of being seen as walking ATMs, tired of putting in effort only to be ghosted or given fake numbers. And listen, I get it. We've been taught that our beauty should be enough, that men should pursue us no matter what. But the reality is, we've created an environment where approaching us feels like a lose-lose situation for them. I used to think men owed me their attention just because I looked good, but here's what I learned. No one owes us anything, not their time, attention, energy, or money. But we've been programmed to think that being pretty is our main value, but then we get upset when men only see us for our looks. Think about how hypocritical that is. We want them to value our minds, but are we actually developing our personalities? We want them to see us for who we are, but do we even know who we are beyond our looks? I had to look in the mirror and ask myself some hard questions. Am I showing interest in him as a person, or just what he can provide? Am I bringing peace to his life, or drama? Am I someone he'd actually want to build a legacy with? The truth is, we've made dating transactional without even realizing it. We expect men to approach, pay, pursue, while we just exist and wait to be catered to. But here's what changed everything for me. When I started focusing on what I could offer instead of what I could get, everything shifted. The relationship I have now with my fiance is proof that when you develop yourself beyond your looks, the right man will see you as a true partner. We wonder why good men seem unavailable, but maybe they're just protecting themselves from the games we don't even realize we're playing. We can't treat men like they're disposable and then wonder why they've stopped trying. Our actions have consequences, but recognizing this is the first step to actually making a change. If we want men to approach us, we need to show them we're worth the risk. Let's start being the women who inspire men to step up, not the ones who make them want to give up.
All great questions. All great questions to ask. And a fantastic way to take accountability for your side of the argument. A lot of times, that person will done something to you for sure. But at some point in time, you need to take accountability and say, okay, what did I do? How am I going to get myself out of that situation? I hear what they did and they did wrong. And if they try to come around here, you and I, we're not friends. I don't do business like that. Well, I'm not doing business like that. I'm sorry. Move on. I'm not trying to be rude, but move along. You don't take accountability. You always want to blame the men. Men always got to shoulder vast majority, 80-90% of the accountability. Like it's the man's fault. And you wonder why you can't find no good man. Kudos to you for saying, this is what I can control. This is what I can fix. I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to find me a good man.
Did you know that 78% of men don't approach women anymore? Here's why that's your advantage. Fear of rejection, fear of looking desperate or awkward, which means if you're the one guy who walks up, introduces himself, and can hold a conversation, you're not competing with anyone. So no, hot girls are not used to being approached. In fact, they are waiting on it. Comment approach for my comprehensive guide on how to master the cold approach like a natural.
You know, this modern women keep on saying this without actually fixing the problem. Well, you could be the lucky one. Basically, she doesn't get any validation from anybody. You get to be the guy with no competition. She's desperate. It's a buyer's market. You get to be the one with the woman who says, you know what the heck? Nobody else I don't have any other suitors, no other takers. What the heck? Why not? And she actually figures out you're a good guy. Ma'am, I was a good guy before you got desperate. How do you know? Because I was trying to talk to you and treat you right. Well, I don't know that a lot of guys No, I was actually taking time to listen to you. We were friends, but you put me in the friend zone. Regardless of what I did, no matter how hard I tried, well, I only see you as a brother until Chad and Tyrone dogged you out. And now you're saying, what the heck? I'm not getting attention from Chad and Tyrone. Might as well give him a chance.
Reasons men will not approach you. If you go out and men rarely approach you, you're doing it right. Contrary to what you might think, if you go out and you are constantly approached, you need to do the hokey pokey and turn your ass back around. Men do not approach what they feel they will be rejected by and what they feel they cannot afford. It's not your resting bitch face, it's the fact that they know they cannot afford you. If you're feeling discouraged when you go out because men do not approach you, I'm here to tell you, you're doing all the right things. The point is not to get approached by every man, the point is to get approached by the right type of man. And if you're sitting there thinking, I could really give two flying F's what men think, then this video obviously isn't for you. But let's not shame the women who are wondering why men aren't approaching them. Whether you want to believe it or not, a man will look at you and within the first 5 seconds know if he's going to approach you. He will do a full up and down, seeing, am I attracted to this woman and can I afford her? If the answer to either of those is no, he's not going to approach you. And if you're sitting there thinking, I'm always approached, oh my God, you look cheap, you look easy, and you look like you're going to say yes no matter what the hell they do. Getting approached by every man at the bar, club, or venue is not a good thing. One is better than all. Always. None, in my opinion, but if you want it, I love you.
Modern women will say stuff like this because they can't get men to be interested in them. They'll say that you must be the town pass around because you've actually figured out how to smile. Is it true that, some men, they know, oh yeah, this girl goes for anything? That is for some women, but it's also true that you have some women that know how to talk to men and how to smile and how to be pleasant. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all just want to continue to be jerks to men.
I see a lot of girls on social media talk about how they go out to the clubs now and guys don't hit on them or go up to them anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, that's because of women. You did that. You did that by blowing men up on social media or screenshotting their courting text or making fun of them or whatever the case may be, that we're just tired, bro. You know what I'm saying? I am that dude. I don't go up to women when I'm out and about. Was never really my way of courting women at a bar or a club, going up to them and spitting game or whatever the case may be. That's never been my route. But I see more and more women now say, we go out and men don't even come up to us anymore. Like, how are we supposed to meet somebody? I think that's at fault on both sides, but I think women need to take responsibility in a way, because it's harder now, because again, 75% of women are looking for the wrong thing. And I think 75% of men are also kind of looking for the wrong thing. They're looking for a girl that they're attracted to, that they can have sex with tonight. And then whatever happens from there happens from there.
Now you see what he just did? Hey, a lot of these brothers out here are looking for the wrong thing. But I think a lot of these women out here are looking for the wrong thing too. But guess what will happen in that equation? Modern women will say, no, it's all the men's fault. I'm doing X because he's doing Y. And I shouldn't have to change. My standards are right where they need to be. And all of these men are trash. All great questions. All great questions to ask. And a fantastic way to take accountability for your side of the argument. A lot of times that person will done something to you for sure. But at some point in time, you need to take accountability and say, okay, what did I do? How am I going to get myself out of that situation? I hear what they did and they did wrong. And if they try to come around here, you and I, we're not friends. I don't do business like that. Well, I'm not doing business like that. I'm sorry. Move on. I'm not trying to be rude, but move along. You don't take accountability. You always want to blame the men. Men always got to shoulder vast majority, 80-90% of the accountability. Like it's the man's fault. And you wonder why you can't find no good man. Kudos to you for saying, this is what I can control. This is what I can fix. I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to find me a good man.
I was speaking to my mum about dating, and because I'm out a lot for work and things like that, and I love to socialize, she was like, oh, like, have you met anyone out? And I'm like, well, I will see a guy that, say, I've texted or, like, met online or have mutuals with, and he will, like, look at me and then turn away and then message saying, like, hey, you looked gorgeous today. And that's, like, a universal experience for every girl. Like, guys will just text you later on. And mum's like, what the fuck? Like, mum's like, when I would go out, if a guy was interested, he'd straight up go, like, hey, I'm interested in you, like, whatever, what's your number? And if you liked him, you'd give him your real one. If you didn't, you'd change one digit. That's what she said to me. My mum did make a point that I go for socially awkward private school boys that don't know how to talk to girls, because I went to single sex schools, so that's a big factor too. But, like, I took it upon myself to call my guy friend and literally ask for the answers. I'm like, just tell me, like, what is stopping guys from just, like, approaching girls naturally and not, like, sleazy, just, like, literally for a conversation? Because guys that, like, do that, like, reap the benefits anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be a sleaze to, like, pull a girl in the first place. My guy friend said, unless a girl is, like, making it that obvious, like, at a pub, for example, that she's into him, he's like, she has to fully be, like, waving at me for me to think to go over. And he said that rejection just isn't worth it these days, because that girls, like, have higher standards of men, so guys genuinely feel like they just aren't good enough and to go up and introduce themselves. And I'm like, that's actually kind of sad, because I do feel like girls are getting judgy up, but I also feel like boys are the same. And I think it goes down to dating apps and social media, obviously, but dating apps is like shopping, like no, yes, no. So it's like people are getting pickier, but yeah, it's like people don't know how to socialize anymore, and it's really sad. I saw on TikTok a card game that someone invented called We Met at a Bar. I don't know if you've seen it, but it actually looks like a cool idea, and they should collab with different pubs in Melbourne and just, like, have the card game sitting at, like, different tables or something. I feel like that'd be so good. Pretty much, I think it was, like, they had, like, different, not dares, but, like, I don't know, you have to look it up, but it's called We Met at a Bar, and, like, it introduces conversation, like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just feel like there's got to be a way to just, like, improve everything about the dating culture, otherwise we're doomed.
I mean, men keep on telling you guys this. Men are pretty clear on how they feel, and you guys don't listen. Every single day, modern women get on here talking about, what do we have to do? How come men won't? Men are literally telling you, you have to be clear in your communication. What does clear look like? You've got to wave me over. Is that too uncomfortable for you? Think about how the other person, which would be the man, feels in the situation, and try to help him help you. Y'all are helping each other. Support him coming over to you. Use your brain.
So I saw 150 videos today about women complaining that they don't get approached in public settings anymore. This is my dad, by the way. You're being introduced to him. Anyway, so I've decided that I, in 2026, will approach all of the women all of the time on behalf of the men who are too afraid to. And I will be doing it with this cowl on, like this. So I will be wearing the cowl of, the torture man from the Isle of Perpetual Tickling. If you get that reference, we should get married, by the way. And I'll just be sauntering up to them like this, kind of wiggly, like a little back and forth kind of thing. And regardless if they're alone or with friends, I just come up to about eye level distance with them, right? And I take off my ring off my finger, and I hold it in front of them, and I go, here, you can have this. And then, where'd it go? Boom, oh, there, oh, wow, magic. At that point, I slowly back away, and then I say, I've already got your phone number. And then I leave. Now, this is a win-win situation for the women, because they've just been approached by a man. And it seems like all these women don't really care about the feelings of the men who approach them. They just want to be approached so they can have the opportunity to reject someone and elevate their own standing in like society based on the fact that they're attractive enough to be approached, but still powerful enough to reject whoever they want. And guys want the exact same thing, where they want to be seen as an option and conversate as and be treated as human beings. And so now imagine a guy, any guy, comes up and talks to the girl I just did that to. A conversation starts based on my weirdness, where both of them feel seen and human and treat each other as normal people. I feel like for me, being willing to take the L in this regard, everyone wins. So if you happen to see me at a local bar and approaching women, trust me, I'm right where I not only want to be, where I need to be to save the rest of y'all from living your lives alone forever. All right, thanks for watching.
Why are men not confident enough to walk up to women now? Say shout out to the guys who are confident enough to walk up to women. The masculinity on earth has diminished drastically, that guys don't even come up to you anymore. They'll just stare at you from a distance. As a woman who's trying to embody her feminine energy, you're not going to catch me going up to the guy. You're just not. We can just stare at each other. Say shout out to the guys who are confident enough to walk up to women, because guys don't do that anymore. If God were to guarantee that your 20th person would be the love of your life, you would be so happy to be rejected by all 19. So why are men not confident enough to walk up to women now? We don't chase. We signal like, you can come up to me now. But all men do is just look at you now. And of course, like, if the woman is interested, she's going to keep looking your way too. But it just like stays like that. Nothing ever happens because men don't walk up to women anymore. Or they're just tired of being rejected. But it's like, if God were to tell you that you're going to go through 20 rejections before you get to your yes, and that's going to be the love of your life, you guys would be so happy to go through all 20 because you were just so closer to the love of your life. Come on, guys. You guys got to do better.
How is it that I look like this today, yet no man wants me to be his girlfriend?
Is this a serious question? Because women just went from saying they rather pick a bear over a man. So why the hell would men approach you? Or even look in your direction? But not only that, so many women have taught men over the years that all men are predatorial, so the good men of the world gave up. And it's so funny because women will constantly say that men don't listen, but now that men are listening, y'all are wondering where the good guys are at, why they don't approach you anymore, and why men are just simply not interested. And why the hell would they be interested? They don't know if they're going to be the next subject of all men are trash content on social media. They don't know if they're going to be accused of doing something they didn't do. They don't know if they're going to be used for dates. They don't know if they're going to be manipulated and then called a narcissist. And in this particular video, she's also asking why didn't they approach her because she looks the way that she looks. But the bottom line is most women are basic. There's nothing special to them. We all look the freaking same. So yeah, you actually have to come with more than just your looks. You actually need a personality nowadays too. Okay, bye.
Okay, I posted a video about like how a man approached me at the bar, and I was like, that was so funny, blah, blah, blah. Like, why don't more men do this because they're not doing it anymore? And then so many men were coming at me like, no, women should approach men. And another barber who's 35 and single, okay? The married man was like, yo, what is going on with dating these days? Like, what is happening? What is going on? And the single guy was like, well, I'm done approaching women because they're disrespectful and blah, blah, blah. And what happens when you get rejected or whatever? Like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, I actually fight them on it, and I want to like prove my point and just like, I'd ask him the next TikTok saying, well, you should approach men. Oh, so you want me to try to be feminine for you, but then also have that masculine quality of like going up to a man and like inserting my dominant, like, what do you want?
It's crazy how many videos this girl makes, and she gets so many people besides me that give her constructive criticism, and then she just lets the point go over her head every single time. If it makes you feel masculine approaching a man that you're interested in starting a conversation, you're probably just not a feminine person. The same way, if I feel so feminine having to clean my house, then I'm not a masculine guy. Like, I can clean my house. What's so crazy is the main reason for why a lot of guys don't approach is a lot of men are afraid that they're going to be bothering you. They don't want to be disturbing you, because even if 99% of the time that I am correct, that, you know, I'm not bothering you, if I'm wrong 1% of those times, it's a bad look. And it is in your best interest, because of the fact that men are typically the ones that are the more aggressive one, the more threatening one out of the two, to probably go be the approacher. And what's so weird is she includes that portion in her video. At the end of the video, she talks about how, as a woman, I have to have my head on a swivel.
Women have to have their head on a swivel and be aware of their surroundings more than men.
Yes, I agree with you, and that's exactly why a lot of men aren't approaching, is they're afraid of bothering you. They know that you have your head on a swivel and they don't want to approach you and scare you. So I don't see why it's such a big ass. Like, look at how she's just like, she refuses to go and approach, but also expects a man to approach. I made a video literally a week ago saying that I agreed with a girl that said, you shouldn't be asking for anything that you also can't reciprocate. And she's asking, clearly wants to be approached, and then it's not happening, but she would never do it herself because it's so masculine. She goes on to play a clip of like a guy approaching her friend group, and he was super weird. He was like just being like really creepy, and like, yeah, she plays the clip and she's like, this is what we have to deal with.
By her, because she was not interested in him. What the fuck is going on?
Listen, that was creepy. That guy is weird for sure, but maybe the reason you're having a lot of these issues is because you're 30-something years old and you're still meeting people at clubs and nightclubs and bars. What kind of people do you think you're going to meet? This is my point, where you're going to meet higher quality options when you have high quality hobbies. When you're meeting people at nightclubs, at bars, of course this is going to happen. The irony, at the end of her video, she says this.
So if you are one of those people that are just getting rejected time and time again at the bar, look inward.
The irony for her to say this, because this is exactly her issue. She is getting rejected constantly. It's just different forms of rejection. I've talked about and made this video before, but the way that girls get rejected is much different than men. Because men most of the time are doing something or initiating something, that is how we get rejected. We get told no, the girl cancels on us, this. If you are not getting approached, because the sad reality is there are still women that are finding relationships. There are finding quality men. You are having that issue. That is an issue that's happening to you, and probably, of course, the friend group that you hang out with, because I can only assume friends that are alike hang out with each other. A lot of men have come to the conclusion that most men don't want to be in relationships. There's that much of an upside being in a relationship as a man. The reality is, for your age demographic, only 17% of women are typically single. So most women overall are still finding relationships. It might be more difficult, but most women are finding more relationships. But a lot of men have checked out of the dating market. For whatever reason you want to come to that conclusion, that's completely up to you. But I am one of like 7 people who have made a video on this girl, and I one time joined her live, and then she said, oh, one of my ops is in this chat. She thinks I'm an op because you make public videos discussing your relationship problems, and then when anybody comes on here and says, hey, you can fix this, you actually have a level of control here, you think they're your op. I never understand how people like this, who have whole pages dedicated to their relationship struggles, it never hits them at some point that maybe they're the source of the problem. Because taking any type of advice from a girl like this about relationships is like getting Super Bowl advice from somebody who's never even played football. She's always going to be a victim. It's never her fault. Men are too feminine, women are too masculine, whatever it is. It's just never their problem. But that's just my opinion. But hey, what do you think?
If you're a girl and you never get approached by dudes in public anymore, you are not alone. This is truthfully a common occurrence across the board. Dudes, flat out, simply are just not approaching women in person anymore. As a matter of fact, not even just for in-person interactions of going up to a woman and saying, hey, can I get your number? Also, even when it comes to dating apps, even when it comes to Instagram DMs, it's actually kind of just dead across the board when it comes to men pursuing women. And this is a huge problem that society does not look at enough, because if we don't have men pursuing women anymore, if we don't have relationships that can be long lasting, if we don't have families built, then over a long enough period of time, how do you have a society when no more families exist? You don't have a society anymore. Society collapses, and it all starts with men pursuing women. And it's a huge problem, but also don't feel like you are alone and sitting there wondering, like, why am I never getting approached in public, or at all for that matter? It's not you. It's the simple fact that men do not pursue women at all anymore. They've just given up.
You got to start handing these women some accountability. You got to take some sort of accountability. Let's not you, but it actually is. RBF is a real thing. They don't wave. They don't say hey. They don't know how to have a conversation. We got to start giving these women some sort of accountability.
What's up with men? I don't know. I wanted to ask you, men don't come up and ask or talk to you anymore. There was this cute guy. He went to the bar at one point, so I was like, oh, let me go to the bar too. So I like saddled up next to him at the bar and kind of like gave like a look, and he looked right at me and then like looked away. I was like, okay, well, never mind. Like I was seeing something that apparently wasn't actually happening. And as we left, one of the other bachelorettes on this trip was like, oh my gosh, that guy kept looking at you. Did you guys talk? I was like, wait, what? You saw it too? I guess I could have said, hi, how are you? I don't know why I didn't. I guess I was like, I made that move. Meet me the other 75% of the way or whatever it is.
It is becoming like that. Like, I think that there's a shift in it. And honestly, women have to take more of the reins in a way. Maybe we should have a man on and ask him what that's like. Why don't they do that?
A dating expert.
Is there a dating expert man that would like to come on this podcast?
I can't remember many times of like I've been approached. And that has been like hard on my self-confidence because I've seen it happen to my friends. Specifically like these two friends that are like drop dead gorgeous, like fit all the beauty standards, like petite. Obviously I'm not like harping on them, but I'm always just like, why doesn't that happen to me? Am I like intimidating somehow? Am I putting off like a certain vibe? I like to be like, it's just my height, I guess. And I'm just too broad of shoulders for someone to approach me. But like I've been approached by women, and so I wonder if it really is, it's almost switching these days of like people are just changing.
I love it. Okay, so you don't need a male dating expert on your show, honey. You should just call me. I'll mosey on down and tell you what's going on. Okay, so here's what's happening. Guys, you tell me if I'm right. In the chat, go ahead. I want you to just tell me, by the way, give me your opinion. Why are you guys not approaching women? Let's hear. I want to see in the comments. I want to see in the chat. I'm going to tell you why I think you're not approaching women. First of all, you've had enough. You're tired of getting used and abused, right? So typically you used to approach women, get laughed at. Oh, women are wanting you to approach just so that they can get attention and validation about how good they look that night, get their free drink, and then they drop you like a hot potato, right? You get ghosted. Oh, can I have your number? Sure. Get your 2 free drinks, the girl, and then she's like, bye. And then you go to text her, either ghosted or you find out she gave you the wrong number. Don't you love that when that happens, when they give you the wrong number? And then you're writing some rando and they're like, oh, I'm not Amy. And you're like, wow, I just spent, all that money, spent 2 hours with this girl, and now she's at the after party with somebody else and gave me a fake number. Girls, you do it. You know it. They're tired of that. They're tired of now, especially with social media. It's blown up the whole game because you can see the girls laughing at you, making videos, gold diggers everywhere, talking about how, oh, you're so ugly. Oh, you don't have all these specific. Oh, I went out with him, but he's only 5'8", so I didn't take him seriously. But I drank all his drinks and all his bottle service. Ha ha. Right? They see it. So here's the thing, ladies. Here's what I would tell you to do. First of all, you are going to need to take the lead a little bit because guys now are saying to themselves, I only want to spend my time and my money on women who are actually interested in me. They really are interested. So you got to show interest now. It's not enough to just stand there and look cute. You have to actually show interest. Decide what that means for you. Also, ladies, you have gotten increasingly promiscuous. You've gotten increasingly boss babish, right? You're prioritizing things guys don't care about. You're like, oh, I don't need a man all day long. What do you think guys are going to do eventually when you keep saying, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I can do it. Okay, honey, do it yourself, and I'll be over here just chilling. You don't need a man? Let's see how you do.
Like, so admirable in this day and age to actually have the nerve. Guys, by no means is this an open invitation for you to be in the comments being like, well, when I was 13, I had an unpleasant experience with approaching a woman, and I'm never doing it ever again. I'm only doing it behind a screen because I don't have to risk being, like, called weird. Guys. Or how about, but I'm ugly, I don't make $200K a year, I'm not 6'3", like, guys, come on, like, touch some fucking grass. Like, I promise you, going up to a woman at the grocery store saying, hey, I think you're pretty, can I get your phone number, is not the scariest thing in the world. Even if it is an unpleasant experience and an unpleasant experience happens again, okay, that's exposure therapy. You got rejected, whatever, on to the next. Like, I know this is such a corny, overplayed saying, but you really got to conceptualize the idea of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Seriously, you guys have no idea how many doors would open for you if you actually had the fucking balls and had the fucking, like, confidence to just see it through. You never know what the other person's thinking. Women by default are usually the ones who are, like, in captivity or whatever, and the men are supposed to go out and, like, make the first move. That's, like, how it's always traditionally been. That's how it's worked for, like, hundreds of years. Like, oh, but radical feminism nowadays, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that's, again, I'm talking about real life, not on the internet, not the Instagram reels you see of, like, those streamers with ring lights having very unpleasant interactions with, like, girls on the strip of the bars who are drunk and, like, being mean to them. Like, we're not gonna bite, right? I'm just saying, if this doesn't apply to you and you want to die in the hill that you're only gonna reach out to women behind a screen, go ahead. I'm just saying it's way more memorable, way more genuine, and way more respectable from a woman's point of view if a man approaches me, especially in a sober setting where there's no liquid courage involved, It's very admirable. Like, it really is. And if you don't want to do that, by no means do you have to. So,
once again, modern women are out of touch with the experience of a man. A guy here in the comments said the biggest issue, and she's not going to listen to you, the biggest issue is that women used to make the green lights a bit more obvious. Woman sees a cute guy eyeing her up, she gives him an opening to approach, the old drop the napkin so he can pick it up trick. In a world of chronic phone usage and resting bee faces, people don't look like they want to be approached. If you want to be approached, then act like it. Too often I've heard a woman at a bar complain that no guys chatted to them, but their face was stuffed into their phone most of the night. Exactly. You don't wave. You don't really look at the man. Even when you look at the man, the signals are unclear. Y'all are not great communicators, at least not as good as you think that you are.
Men talk a lot about how it's really unfair that they have to be the ones to approach women. I find that quite interesting because men literally never approach me. The only men who approach me are chuggers. I can remember in my life three times in my 41 years where I've been approached by men. Women approach me all the fucking time. Men, 3 times in my life. First time was 20 years ago and I ended up dating him for 15 years. Second time was about 11 years ago and obviously I had a boyfriend at the time, so I said no. Third time was about 2 years ago in a bar. That's it. 3 times in my entire life. That's what, an average of once every 13 years. Every other person that I've dated, I've approached. I've been the one that made the move. So what are men talking about? Like, why are men saying they're approaching people all the time? I don't think I'm ugly. I don't think people are not approaching me because I'm like massively chopped. Do I just have like massive resting bitch face or something? Maybe. Like, I don't want to be approached. I'm not asking to be approached. I just don't really understand why men are moaning about having to be the ones to approach when I, a normal looking person, literally don't ever get approached. From my experience, and I know that this is anecdotal evidence, but in my experience, men are moaning about something that they don't ever do. I don't know, am I like in the massive minority here? Are all other women just getting approached day in, day out? Maybe I'm just massively chopped, I don't know.
A man in the comments said, translation, the men that I want are not approaching me, but there definitely are men that are approaching me. I just feel like I'm too good for them.
Men don't know how to approach modern day women because women have never been as masculine and dominating or assertive as they ever have been. There's no rule book because women have never been this way in any point in history and men have never been this way. We have evolved as a species. Women are more capable. They have developed their capabilities, their skill sets, their assertiveness, and men have been tapping in more emotionally, nurturing that internal world because now it's acceptable, unlike before. So, we don't know how to relate to each other because the old rule book no longer applies. When it comes to approaching a woman, it is intimidating. Women are so much more beautiful than they ever have been with the cosmetic, with the makeup, with the surgeries, and then add assertiveness and capabilities on top of that. Like, I don't think women know how much courage it takes to not buckle under the like radiance of a beautiful woman. It's already intimidating enough, and then you add the fact that some of them like aren't the nicest. Women aren't emotionally as available as they used to be. Before, you could approach a woman and you could pretty much guarantee like she was going to be very soft. Not anymore. Not anymore. There's no standard of behavior. And so when approaching a woman, you need to ask yourself, am I approaching her as a more than or a less than? If it's either, you're already out of the race. It's already going to be bad. Now, if you're approaching someone as a more than, you're approaching them as better than, which means you're going to be condescending. You're probably going to be aggressive. You're probably going to have like no compassion or understanding towards this person. So you will repel healthy, balanced women, and you will most likely attract women with no backbone. You will attract women you don't respect, and you will not respect yourself for being with someone you don't respect. So that doesn't work. Number 2, approaching a woman as a less than. If you approach a woman as a less than, you're approaching her as a people pleaser, as a man who avoids conflict, and she will not respect you. Women do not respect men who cannot say no. They don't respect men who like, and then make shit up. We can tell when you make shit up. Oh my God, it's so obvious. And so many men will come to me and they're like, well, you know, I just feel like I can love her into change, where if I'm just so accepting, she'll never find anyone as accepting as me, and that's my ammo. That's the worst fucking strategy I've ever heard. Women don't work that way. You cannot love someone into melting into your arms, if that makes sense. Like, people think, if I just love her enough and I'm so accepting, then one day she'll just feel safe enough to unravel. Wrongo! That is the opposite of making a woman feel safe. Have you ever had a parent who was like, you know, who was always positive, always just like, you know that parent, or like a grandparent. And when you're upset, you don't want to go to that grandparent sometimes because you need a reality check. You already know what they're going to say. Oh, you're the best thing in the world. You're so strong. Like, don't worry. Like, they just sound like a Hallmark card. People don't like going to that person because they don't believe what they're saying. It's like, oh, they're just trying to make me feel better. They're just going to tell me what I want to hear. No one trusts going to that person unless they want to keep lying to themselves. So that's how women will feel. If you cannot contain the severity of what they're feeling, because sometimes it can be intense and they are taking it seriously, they're not going to feel like they can trust you. If they can't trust you to be honest with them, they're going to go to their friends. They're going to go to other people who will see them as an equal. And yeah, it's just a horrible strategy. When it comes to approaching them, you want to hit the G-spot of communication, not like. Okay, the G-spot of communication is assertive communication. It's when you can be direct, firm, grounded, and compassionate. That's my 4-pillar framework that I developed. I'm so passionate about assertive communication because I used to be the person that, like, I couldn't even raise my hand. I did not want attention on me at all. Even when I thought an opinion about something, I wouldn't speak up, and then later I'd like beat myself up about it. And that was in my teens. Then I started hosting public speaking workshops because I started doing the social entrepreneurship program in Washington, D.C. So then I started leading public speaking workshops. From the time that I was 15 to the time that I was 21, a bitch was in front of a crowd. And that's my 4-pillar framework when it comes to not only speaking in public, but approaching someone in communication, especially when it comes to conflict. So I help men and women learn assertive communication because it's a skill set that requires emotional regulation, being able to stay grounded because you feel a lot of like fear or anger sometimes during conversations. So if that's something you like help in, you can book a call. If not, learn more about assertive communication, okay? It's going to change your life.
One guy says, to be honest, I don't even think about approaching women anymore, sadly. Another guy says, just don't approach, to be honest. Another guy says, fellas, just let her believe whatever she wants to believe. That's pretty much it. We can do this dance. We can go back and forth all you want to. Just let her believe what she wants to believe. If she wants to play all of these games, I have games at home that I can play. And that's probably what I'm going to do.
One of the trends that I've been noticing, particularly this year in comparison to previous years, is women are beginning to notice a change in men's behavior, maybe finally, and when it comes to approaching them. Some of them have mentioned men not approaching women in public as much as before, especially like in the workplace, when they're out with their friends, and even like at clubs, and especially with them speed dating events. From your vantage point, why aren't men approaching or chasing women in the way they used to?
I think you know that answer.
Listen, I know, but I also think when men say it, I think a lot of times people, I do think that there is a space where sometimes your word and your perspectives from you, Crimson, Reva, and others, I feel like, and again, I'm not telling you what to give me an answer is. Mm-hmm. I think I believe, and my audience may believe, but from your vantage point, somebody who's been doing this way longer, who is married and who's, has been doing this for quite a while and is very successful. From what you're seeing, what's your vantage point about why it is specifically? Because I think a lot of the ladies are stating men aren't men anymore, men aren't masculine anymore, and all this stuff. And I think that's what they're concluding is why men aren't taking initiative in this area anymore. From your vantage point, why aren't men chasing and approaching women to the same degree?
Well, it's their behavior. It's the behavior, the attitude, the entitlements. The expectations that they have from men these days for relationships is ridiculous, in my opinion. What you expect from a man, the approach, men are probably one of the reasons they're probably scared to approach because of the attitudes that how they might, nobody wants to be, it's one thing, in my opinion, to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Rejected. But it's how, and a lot of these women are just entitled. They think that they're better than average men. And so if a man, an average man see a woman that he thinks is attractive, he doesn't know what he's going to be met with. She could be like, ew, get away from me. Oh my God. Why are you they think that they're too cool for school. Like you can't approach them. If you do, it's like, if they don't like you, it's like, they treat you like you're something ill, something nasty. Like, so if I was a man, I wouldn't approach either. The entitlements, the things that they're asking for, you got to make 6 figures. You got to pay their rent just to take them on a date. Like, who in the hell is doing that? Like, I wouldn't approach. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I said if I was a man, or just if I was single and dating in this era, I probably would just be single, because especially being a man, like what? Like that is weird to me. I talk about it all the time. The expectations, pay my rent, pay a bill. I need you to spend money on me without even knowing you. Coffee dates are for what they say, coffee dates or the bare minimum. Like you can't.
What is it? Cheesecake Factory coffee dates are now off limits in a lot of these women's eyes.
Yeah. So why would men continue to go out of their way to try to court or date women who think this way? Yes, an automatic turn off, in my opinion. Like, hell no, I wouldn't approach you either. I would walk right past you like you're invisible. I don't have time. That is ridiculous. I wouldn't approach either. So yeah, it's their behavior, their entitlements. They think because they have jobs and a degree that they're better than average men. And so they don't want average men. They want rich men, but they're not getting the rich men. And that's just what it is. You think that average men are beneath you and rich men don't want you.
Average men are beneath you, and most rich, high value men or most in demand men don't even want you, especially not for long term commitment. That's it. Listen, we can stop the interview right there. I loved how you articulated that, because I've said similar things, but I don't think I've approached it in that way. I don't think the ladies realize most of them. I don't say most. Actually, I am going to say most.
A lot.
Most of them have made themselves unattractive even to men that they don't want. And I don't think that they realize it. Like, it's not just the men that they want that aren't seeing them as an attractive enough candidate for long-term commitment. It's also all the men that they look past.
Yeah.
Now those men aren't even approaching them to the same degree.
Yeah.
So it's even the men that you were looking down on and the men that you think are below you, and he's average and I'm not. No. Even the men that you all are thinking is you would never give a chance to. Listen, ladies, a lot of y'all may hurt your own feelings if you start shooting your shot and seeing if you won't get rejected, because you're right. Men are taking notice, and I understand why this whole manosphere, red pill space is so, it infuriates women that it even exists.
I don't like it.
And this is the conclusion that a lot of men have come to. If you're not going to be a good person, then why am I talking to you? You're making fun of Cheesecake Factory, where a lot of people go. It's a respectable place. It really doesn't matter, basically. Oh, well, you could have chosen this place, this restaurant. It has a great vibe. It does. But the fact of the matter is, you didn't want to go to that restaurant. You might want to go to that restaurant down the road, but not right now. And so you'll give me, you'll make up an excuse, or you'll give me trouble about why this restaurant is a lower tier idea, because it's not really the idea or the steakhouse that you wanted to go to, right? So you play these games about men not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and men not giving you full effort, and men giving you the bare minimum. But really, a man gave you all of the effort that you needed. You just felt like you wanted to go to one of the most expensive places. And a man is saying, well, if I'm going to pick up a bill, I'm just going to stay single.